and welcome to Yarn Lane. So if you've not watched Yarn Lane before, if this is your first time, then welcome to the fantastic community of, we've got so many people who are fans on our Facebook page and join in and are just loving all the knitting and crochet and yarn crafts that we're doing. So if you've not shopped with us before, the best way to do it is on the website. You need to go on to www.yarnlane.com. Now, if you look on the watch live bit, there's the bit with me there, watch live. If you scroll down below that, all the products that we're selling on this hour are there. Can you see them? All there, there. Best way to buy, choose the one you want, click on add to basket and check out, and that's it, easy peasy. The way it works is exactly the same as Sewing Street. We have one P&P of £3.95 per day, only one. Doesn't matter how many times you check out, how many products you buy, but also remember it's joined onto Sewing Street as well. So if you've bought something from Sewing Street at say 8:31 this morning, and then you buy something from Yarn Lane, then it is still one P&P because we're all the same sister family, so it all works out beautifully. You can also, if you prefer, if you don't want to buy on the website, you can also buy on the phone line. We've got a UK call centre who are really helpful and lovely. The number is on your screen now, 0800 4700 600. So you can choose, you can either shop online or you can phone the call centre, or even if you've got any questions about the products, you're not sure about something, they're really helpful. They'll be able to help. So you do need to be on yarnlane.com to buy, you can't be on Sewing Street. So today we're on air 3 times a week, usually Monday, Wednesday, Friday, sometimes, but always at 12 o'clock. And we have so many different products and kits and lovely things that I've decided for the penultimate maybe show of the year, with the last show before Christmas anyway, we're going to have a little bit of a roundup on the kits that we've been doing this month, because I know a lot of you miss out on them if you haven't watched it. But so we're going to do a few of those, but I've also got some brand new products as well. I've got some really lovely books. When I was told I could just order books, it was wonderful. It was like being in a bookshop for free. So I ordered some beautiful ones, but I asked to get them all from the publisher first. They sent me loads so that I could have a really good look through, see what the projects were, and see if I liked them, if they made sense, whether they were quality. So all the books that we're bringing you today are ones that I've chosen because I think they're really nice. This one, Rainbow Knits by Nikki Trench, brand new on air today. Now, anyone who knows anything about knitting will have heard of Nikki Trench. She's a wonderful designer, and this book is a stunner. Rainbow Knits, 20 colourful knitting patterns in all different stripes and shades. So let's just have a little quick look through. I mean, when I'm looking in a book, I want inspiration. I want to see the yarns that they're using in colours that I want to wear, all colours that are, on trend, not necessarily super fashionable, super modern, but not really old-fashioned, but I want to be able to see the sort of thing that you'd look into a shop, into a boutique and go, oh, wow, that's beautiful, that's really expensive, but I can knit that myself. And do you know what? This book ticks all of those boxes. Now, remember, in this book, it's $14.99, there are 20 projects. Now, normally if you buy a knitting pattern, it would cost a lot more than whatever, 420 divided by $14.99. How much is that per project, Hannah? She'll work that out for me in a minute. But they would normally cost significantly more than this. But all the projects in this book, they're all rainbow. But look at this beautiful cardigan. I mean, I have seen things like this in catalogues. They're how much? 74 pence per pattern. You would never buy a knitting pattern for 74 pence. And what's great when you buy books as well is you get all the technique pages. So you get a lot more information than you would in a pattern as well. Isn't that a beautiful cardigan? Obviously, you can choose the colours that you want, but isn't the inspiration fantastic? So it tells you what yarn they've used, but what, if you're not going to use the same yarn as well, it tells you the weight, so that's easy. Like, so for example, this scarf is knitted in a 4-ply, tells you the gauge and the tension, and actually the patterns are quite simple, but they're beautiful. Look at that bobble hat. So you've got quite a mixture of, of clothing, which is obviously takes a little bit more time, and then you've got quicker makes like the scarf. I love that. This is ideal for using up those scraps of yarn, isn't it? So if you've knitted something and you've got half a ball left of various colours, obviously it does list all the yarn that's used in this, which in this one is a Debbie Bliss Rialto DK. But you could, as long as you're using a double knit for this, you could use up all of those scraps. And what I like about that is that the stripes are all different widths. So it doesn't really matter, does it? I mean, it does tell you how much, if you want an identical one, how to do the stripes. It's got a really lovely turtleneck as well, which is always really flattering. So it's not like the full-on polo neck, but it's just a little bit more flattering. Lovely cowl. I love the tank top. Really nice as well. I like tank tops because it sort of keeps you warm, but then keeps your arms free as well. Then there's a section on babies and children. Again, rainbow. It's beautiful rainbow joke. Really like that baby blanket. I mean, that looks that's the sort of thing you would buy in one of these sort of baby boutique shops for hundreds. Lovely. So that's babies and children. I'm just going to skip through that just to give you an idea. Gifts and home is lovely, because often we think, oh, well, I don't want to knit garments, but, you know, you can knit a Fair Isle bag. There's a cable cushion, mittens. I love the cable pillow. A passport cover. Who doesn't want a knitted passport cover? Love the Fair Isle bag. So if you've not tried Fair Isle before and you don't want to commit to getting it all wrong on clothing, or you just want to practice, a bag is the ideal thing. There's even a knitted silk tie. Love that. Arm warmers. God, I'd like a pair of those for driving. I never want to wear a full-on jumper and coat, but I get cold arms and hands, need them at the moment. And then at the back of the book are all the techniques, everything you need to know, even from the very beginning, how to hold your needles and how to hold the yarn, how to knit, how to purl, and then all the different stitches, all in really clear, easy to read, easy to see, computer diagrams. So it's really simple. This is a wonderful book. So, love that one. So another brand new book today, Knitting Needles. Oh, sorry, we'll go on to that one in a minute. This one here. Now, when I was choosing needles to sell on Yarn Lane, I really love these KnitPro needles, and they do various types of them. These are the Zing ones. Now, we sell all of these needles separately, well, individually, but in pairs. So you can buy the 3.5mm, the 7mm pairs. And a lot of our designers use them. And when I speak to the designers whose kits we're selling on air, if they haven't got the needles in, I'll say, well, we've got the KnitPro Zing. They go, that's absolutely fine because they're really good quality. But obviously, as any of you who knit know, it may say in your pattern, use 3.5mm needles, but it depends on your tension. Always, it's a bit like pre-washing your fabric, always do your tension square to make sure it's right. But you will need, sometimes, I know that I'm a really tight knitter, so I always have to change. You often need to go up a mil or down a mil. So the great thing about having a set is that you can very easily change what you're doing. So these range from the smallest one, which I think is 2.5, 2.5, 3, 3.5, 4, 4.5, 5, 5.5 and 6. So you've got a really good range, all from 4-ply right up to your Aran and your chunky. And this is, but if you say you're thinking about in the new year, you want to start knitting again, or you've gone through your knitting needle collection and see, oh, they've seen better days, because they do get bent a bit after a while, don't they? This is perfect because you've got all the needles that you need for the majority of knitting. I mean, obviously there are larger sizes, but this covers pretty much everything. But they all come together. This lovely zip case as well. It's really nice. It's, I mean, for $39.99, that's a bargain. They're 30 centimetre length, which is a really good average length. Most garments will be a 30 centimetre. You only really need something longer if you're knitting like a big poncho or a scarf or something. This is pretty standard. And what I like about them, although the numbers are printed on them, they're all different colours, so it's very easy to see what size you need. And they all have, I'm just going to let's get out one of the bigger ones because it's probably easier to see. Okay. And then they've got all of these really lovely the metal tips, so they're very smooth, and the yarn will go through them. Let me just move it onto the table so you can see better. The yarn slides on them really well. That's the 6mm needle, but these are beautiful. So, you know, if you've knitted before and you're thinking about, well, actually, you know, I'm going to start again, or if you know somebody who wants to start knitting, what a perfect gift for them. But it's in a really nice set. It's just easy. It keeps it done. They're not going to get bent in there. But if you've not tried the KnitPro Zing needles before, you will love these. So we're going to do the beginners knitting. That's the beginners one. Yeah, so I've got two here. So this is really good. Now, on the website, you'll see that we do loads and loads of different tools and accessories. We do stitch markers and we do ring markers. We do needle point ends. But this is really good. This is for beginners. But actually, I mean, I'm not a beginner to knitting, but I would certainly like to have this. So in the box, let me open the box. You can see these are great. So you get your point ends, which are great. So if you're stopping knitting and you're putting it away for the evening, this stops your knitting sliding off. They're also really good, say if you've got cable needles and you want to hold your knitting on them, you just slide those onto the ends of the needles and they hold. You've got the stitch markers, and these are locking ones. So you know when you want to mark either in, I mean it does say, it says knitting, but these, I would use these for crochet as well. When you're doing amigurumi and you need to mark the beginning of a round, these are perfect. These are great for just marking and counting. So maybe you've got to knit 173 rows and you think, oh, I can't keep counting. Mark every 10 rows. It's so much easier to count. Or maybe you've got to cast on 326 stitches. Mark every 20 stitches and you don't have to keep going back and counting. Or you use them for fair isle, but anything you need to mark, these are great. And I love the rings as well. There's small ones and big ones. Basically they're for different size needles. The big ones for the fatter needles and the small ones for the narrow needles. Again, these are really good for if you're counting or you're marking patterns. So if you're counting when casting on, just slip one of these rings between each other. They're so fine, they won't affect the tension, but they're also really good for marking parts of patterns as you go along. Maybe, you know, when they say mark with a piece of yarn where you've got to put the eyes, but you could use these instead. So it's the, I mean, I guess it is a beginner because you wouldn't normally have these, but anyone even more experienced knitters, it's lovely. And they all come in this lovely little plastic case. That's great. Right, now I'm going to go on to, oh, we did this last week and it was so popular and I wanted to bring it back to anyone who missed it in the first time. This was on the 18th. This is designed by Helen from Woolly Chic, who's one of our favourite designers. She actually launched Yarn Lane with me. She was on our first show, Helen, and this is beautiful knitted teddy bear. Now, the Yarn Lane, I've just got to find, I wanted to find the kit for this one. It's the purple bag. Is that the blue bag? This one. Let me just make sure I've got the right, yes, that's the right bag. If you want to watch back any of the shows, Yarn Lane is exactly the same as Sewing Street, that you can go onto YouTube. So this one, this was on air on the 18th of December, if you want to see it again. So isn't he beautiful? He's really beautiful. So in the kit, it all comes in this beautiful cotton bag with the Woolly Chic logo. You've got the pattern. Now he is knitted in 100 grams of British double knit wool, and his cardigan is in heart spun yarn, 4-ply. But he's lovely. So in the kit you get everything you need. The only thing you don't get is the needles, and you'll need a pair of 3.5mm. Now if you're not sure, if you've forgotten this, if you go onto the website, all the information about the kit and the needle size you need is on the website, and we also sell the 3.5mm needles on the website. So you could easy to find what you want on there. So in the kit you get the lovely natural, this is blue-faced Leicester yarn, which is a type of sheep, in case you don't know, but it's beautiful, really natural. I mean, this is so warm and soft and snuggly. What the perfect gift for a new baby or a child. It's also got the yarn needed to knit his waistcoat. So if I just put him down, it's got that. It's got the yarn for his waistcoat, and it has the black yarn for his face. It's all in here, everything you need, and the buttons that are on his waistcoat, and also you've got the stuffing to fill him up with, and this is really lovely soft stuffing. It's ideal for all skill levels. It's just garter stitch, which is when you knit every row knit. So it's very, very easy, but it's just lovely. So maybe you've got a child, you know, an older child who wants to learn to knit. They could knit their own teddy bear, but it's beautiful quality. And I think this is the important thing. You know, when you're making toys, you can knit them in all sorts of quality, but this is a real heirloom piece. I mean, he's absolutely charming as well. I mean, look at his little face. He's lovely. I mean, we use on Yarn Lane, I've tried, my main thing is I want to introduce you to lots of different suppliers so that you can see all sorts and different qualities and different brands. But I think he's just absolutely charming. And also, it's really nice that we on Yarn Lane, we can support these small designers. You know, at the moment they do need all the help they can get, and you know, Helen from Woolly Chic, she spends hours designing all these patterns, creating everything and putting it together, because obviously she's a knitter herself, and she spends ages getting everything just right to make it easy for you. So let me just line him up. There we go. He's lovely. I have to like tilt his little face forwards. Tilt his little face forward, look. And he's got little ears. It's really lovely. He's just beautiful little character. So next, let me put him to one side. Rabbits. Rabbits. So we've got two rabbits, a pink rabbit and a white rabbit. And you can choose which one you have. Separate kits for each. Let me show you. This is the... Again, these were on the 18th of December. So if you want to watch back the tutorial, because Helen shows you exactly how to make them, go onto YouTube on Yarn Lane and put in the 18th of December and you can watch them. So these are the kits. Let me show you the pink one to start with. In the kit, you get the pink yarn and the yarn for his waistcoat, or is it a girl? And the yarn for the waistcoat. We've got various colours in here. And you get the black yarn for his nose and eyes, and you get the pink yarn the pink yarn is for his nose. But isn't it lovely? And this is what's great about when you use these small individual suppliers, is that they have the time, you know, that they know exactly what you need, and they've just wound just a little bit. So you've got just what you need. Yeah, you're not then paying for like 50 grams of yarn that you're not going to use. All the stuffing is in there. So again, this rabbit, he's knitted in garter stitch and stocking stitch. You've got 50 grams 4-ply wool. Then you don't have the needles in them, but on the website it tells you exactly the ones you want, and we sell them as well. So I've written in there all the detail about what's in the kit and what needles you'll need. So if you don't have them at home, we do sell them as well. They're 3 to 3.5 mil, depending on your tension. And it's got to be quite tight, your tension on here, because obviously you don't want the stuffing to come out. So she does talk about the tension, so it's quite important to keep that quite tight. So do change your needle down a size if you're slightly loose tension. But the best thing is that once you've got the pattern, obviously, and you've got the whole kit, you've made your rabbit, but you've got the pattern forever. So you can keep making him over and over again. And in here, there's all the instructions for how to do it, but also pictures, which is really useful, particularly when you're, you know, creating the body and you're stuffing him and putting him all together. There's all the pictures to show you how to do it, how to make the little tail. And you make a pom-pom for his tail, and we do sell the pom-pom makers. Okay? Now, of the teddy bear, we've got less than 10 remaining. So if you want to buy the lovely teddy, I would pop him in your basket and get checked out now, because he will probably go, I'm sure he will go before the hour is out. But he is adorable, isn't he? So exactly the same bunny, but he's white. So you get the same, let me just pop that pattern back in that one. You get this, it all comes in this lovely Woolly Chic bag. So it's like a little project bag. And if you were making this as a gift for somebody, you could pop him in the bag and give him as a gift. So you get the pattern, you get the filling, and you get the yarn. And it is 4-ply yarn, and it's beautiful. I mean, it's hard to show you on air, but it is really soft. And it is 100% British wool. And I think it's really nice at the moment to be supporting not only the British yarn industry, but also the British designers. Because, you know, they're what keeps us going at the moment, aren't we? Anyone who's into knitting and crochet, it's so important. And you get all the little bits exactly the same. You get the nose and the eyes, and you get the waistcoat colour. And the toy filling is, importantly, 100% recycled wool, toy stuffing. Oh, sorry, it's not. It's recycled plastic bottles, 100%. So Helen is really keen on the whole sustainability. In fact, she's just won an award for the eco yarn. So she won in the Knitting Crochet Awards. So she is now award-winning woolly chic. And all the rabbits are knitted in that as well. But they're just lovely, aren't they? So you choose, have a pink one or a white one. You can choose between the two. But they're lovely. They're really lovely. And I've used Helen's patterns. They're very, very easy to understand. They're really sweet. So I know you can have loads of them, because once you've got the pattern, you can just keep making more. And look at his tail. And for this you need, this is that one there, the extra small. That's the small. I don't know the extra small. You need the extra small pom-pom maker, but if you go onto the website, onto the Yarn Lane website, the extra small, there it is on screen now, $4.49. They're brilliant. This is I've got the small one here. They're easy. It's not like the days of using. There's the picture. It's not like the days when you used to use cardboard rings and be winding it round. This is really, really easy, but they're great. Helen used these in a show she did a few weeks ago, and she made little pom-poms and sewed them on the ends of the shawl all the way round. So obviously they're great for toys, for tails, but they're really lovely to add to things. And if you use pure wool for them, they come out really well. And someone told me a little tip. Once you've made your pom-pom, if you put it in the microwave for a few seconds, I know this sounds really odd, it fluffs up better. You take it out and it fluffs up better. So brand new tool today, which is, where is that? Oh, there it is, the yarn holder. This is great. So if you're using, say, 100-gram ball of yarn, like you know, one of the bigger ones, and you find it keeps rolling over the floor, or you don't get the end off it probably because it's winding round and it gets caught up, you just slide this through the centre of the ball of yarn, and then it just holds it still. And so the base, let me show you, the base has got these sticky things on, so they just hold, that means it will stay still, but then it's just this that moves. So as you're knitting, the yarn is winding off and it just keeps it still. So you could actually put this on the floor beside you, if maybe you're sitting on the sofa, and the yarn will wind off, or you just put it next to you, but it just stops having balls of yarn wind around. And I think at $13.99 it is solid, I think it's beechwood. Solid beechwood, it's a really good price, $13.99, and it honestly does make, when you use particularly the bigger yarn, balls of yarn, I mean any size really, it does make it easier because it just holds it all in one place and stops everything rolling around. But it's nice because I'm the lucky one that got to choose all these things, is that I've made sure I've chosen things that aren't just rubbish quality, that aren't going to last or aren't even that useful. I've chosen things that I know that I would like and that really make a difference, and this is a lovely thing. I actually don't have one of these, so I really would quite like one. Yeah, I think this one might be going in my bag. I just say that every day. There's already so many things, but it's one of those tools. It only does one thing. It puts your yarn on and winds it off, but it does it brilliantly. And I think that's often quite good, isn't it? It's nice to have something that does one thing, but that does it well. So that's a great thing. Right, the socks book, knitted animal socks. This is new. This is new as well. Now, I chose this book because I just love it. That's about it, really. 35 furry and friendly creatures to keep you warm. So a lot of people are really into knitting socks at the moment. I used to be scared of knitting socks, but I've got a wonderful show planned for the first week of January called How to Knit Socks. Don't forget to tune into that. I think that's the 6th of Jan. And this is just wonderful. So if you want to learn how to knit socks, do it then. But look at those. They're just, this is the first time on air, but they're lovely. It's just lovely. So let me just go through it. So you start off with little ones. Look at Teddy Booties. Now, we've had this on pre-order, so you really do need to check out. If you've got it in your basket, you need to check out. Look at the unicorn socks. Look at them. And you can't put shoes on while you're wearing those because they've got horns. But it's not just socks, though. Look, the pug hat. Who doesn't want a pug hat? Hannah wants him. Dinosaur socks. I mean, you know, doesn't that make... Oh, look at the piglet socks. Piglet socks. Fox hat. I mean, the baby stuff is beautiful. Monster feet. Monster feet. You see, in that range, what age does that go for? To fit a child 2 to 6 years. Oh, raccoon hat. Socks with pockets with toys. Then we've got in-betweeners. So these are sort of your middle. Look, unicorn hat. Fox socks. We're down to the last 7 of these now. Look at whale socks. They're gorgeous. Lion hat. Let me just say that's all your... But let's go on to teens and grown-ups. What can we have? Llama socks. Only 5 left. Only 5 left. Reindeers. Reindeers. Chameleon hat. Who doesn't want to be a chameleon? Polar bear socks. Shark socks. Very important. Look at the shark socks. You've got your feet inside the teeth. They've got like little teeth. Llama hat. Rabbit hat. Oh, oh, who wants the bumblebee hat? I mean, for $14.99, that's what you would pay. Well, you'd pay more of that for just the socks. And the best thing about it is they only use small amounts of yarn. So yes, it does tell you what yarn they've used for that, but you can just use your own. As long as you use the same weight, you can use anything. And it uses up all those little bits, doesn't it? Zebra socks. And then we're down to our last 3. At the end is all the techniques, but that is a fantastic book. If you manage to get that in your basket, knitted animal, socks and hats. I love that. It's amazing, actually. I knew that I know I love knitting and crochet, and I knew that loads of you love knitting and crochet, but I am still amazed even now how popular it has been. And not only obviously in how many of you are watching and buying, but all the feedback we get and the fans that we have on the Facebook page. You're such lovely people. And every time I see somebody puts a post in about how do I do this and how do that, all of you're all replying. It's wonderful. We sell out so many times. I am getting better at it, but every time I buy something for another show, I mean, I've just bought all the yarn for the sock show in January, and I think, oh, have I bought enough? I don't know. There's so many lovely things. Right, Hannah, what shall we do next? On the knitting side. Oh, the knitted socks. Oh, yeah, because I keep talking about socks. So this is the same little accessory pack as the beginner's one, only this one is for socks. Because it's got different. It's not the same. It's just the same little box. But it's specially for socks. So let's open it up and see what we've got in here. So we've got, because obviously socks are often, well, you can either use a circular or you can use a DPN, which stands for double pointed needle. So DPNs, so double pointed needles, if you want to store them and you want to hold them together, these have got 5 holes in either end. So you put them and you store your sets together because quite often they get mixed up or they get bent. This will hold them together. If you are currently in the middle of knitting something on double pointed and you want to hold them together and stop all your knitting falling off, you can just push all your needles together and then you put them on the ends. Perfect. You've got the rings that were in that beginner set, obviously for marking stitches, which is perfect for socks, particularly when you're counting, you're splitting for the heel and everything, you need those. You've got the stitch markers, really important, and you've got yarn needles for sewing them up. So if you want to knit socks, if you like knitting socks, these are perfect. Perfect. Yes. Right, if you'll notice on the Yarn Lane website, we have lots and lots of different tools and accessories. Some of them we say, you know, that's like with the teddy, it's not in the kit. So we'll say that it's not in the kit, but you can buy it. But also if you just want to buy them. So this is just a small sample of the ones we do. So you can look on the website for them. So these are circular needles. These are 5mm, 7mm, and 3.5mm. So they're all used for different things and you need to buy the ones for your project. But what's interesting is a lot of people who don't necessarily want to knit on straight needles because maybe you're knitting a shawl or something and you'll need needles really, really long. And then it also gets a bit heavy. So if you suffer at all with dexterity or arthritis, the needles, if you're knitting something quite big, get quite heavy. But if you knit them on a circular needle, then the majority of the weight of the knitting is sitting on the cable and therefore it's in your lap. But you don't go round and round. You can knit straight patterns on circular. You just get to the end and then you turn around and come back again. So circular needles are for knitting in circles, but they're also there. But all of these circular needles are on the website. So just go on there. We do all different, it's very important you've got to get the right mill, so the diameter, but also the right length of cable. So this is just a small sample of what we have. This one. These. So these are great. Again, essential knitting tools. So different to the accessory pack. So you've got on here, this is lovely, for £12.99, absolutely perfect. If you've not done much knitting before, this is great. But if you have, these might be some things you haven't got. So the stitch holders are fantastic, because obviously when you're knitting cable or socks or something where you need to separate, you can put your stitches on there. Wool needles. Now these needles, I don't know whether you can see, but the top of them have got like a plastic loop on the top. So it's not like a tapestry needle that has an eye. It has a plastic loop. So if you're wanting to sew in ends and you've got quite a thick yarn, you've got a big space for that. But because it's a plastic loop, it will slide through the knitting when you're knitting together. So the wool needles with the plastic loops are much better than the tapestry needles. You've also got wool pins, which are really important. I mean, A, for pinning things together, but for also marking. And then you've got a smaller stitch holder. So it is what it says on the tin. It is essential knitters' tools, but all in one place together. It's the sort of little gadgets that you might not necessarily have, but make things easy. And honestly, if you've never used the wool needles with the plastic loop, you're going to love them. Oh, can I just mention Teddy? Because he is almost... Bye. He's almost sold out. There are loads of them, loads and loads in baskets. We've got more in baskets than we've actually got. So I would say if you're going to, oh, he's lovely, isn't he? Look, he crosses his arms and everything. If you want the Teddy, you need to check out, because there are more in baskets than we've got. Hooray! It's great. It's always busy on Yarn Lane, though, which is great. I'm so glad that everyone else is knitting and crocheting like I am. It's really lovely. Right, now, fancy a little bit of a treat. Fancy a bit of a treat. Now, gosh, you can't see it very well like that, can you? We're going to go, look, I'm showing you the back of the box at the moment, but I'm going to show you the overhead. These are really luxurious crochet hooks. We don't have many of these in stock, but these are beautiful. So they range in size from 3.5mm all the way up to 8mm. So we're now on, we're on crochet now. We have so much stuff. In fact, Hannah said to me, why have you put so much stuff in this show? I said, well, because I couldn't choose. So she said, well, we'll have to split it between knitting and crochet. But I wanted to bring you lots of things. It's really lovely to have the sort of more inexpensive gadgets, but we all know that if you use quality tools, it makes things easier. So should we just take one out? They're all held in by elastic. I wonder if it gives you the details. This beautiful gift box that they're in. But these are lovely. They're very, very, very smooth. I've got too much stuff. Now I'm going to just show you this one hook. They're beautifully smooth. They've got slight ridges at the end, which makes them much easier to hold. They've even got a little jewel. But can you see the little jewel in there? The size is printed on them, which is really lovely. But these are beautiful. After we'd bought them, I had a little go. Just borrowed one. Not from this set. This is just borrowed one. And they are lovely. It makes a big difference, particularly when you're using pure wool or you're using a coarser yarn that's a bit sort of stickier. They do slide beautifully over them. So this is a perfect gift for yourself or someone else. The packaging is lovely. It's all on velvet. It's all held together with elastic. I mean, this is a beautiful set. This is a real treat yourself. But it's not just gratuitous. Oh, it does make a difference. And we all know that, don't we? We know that if you buy quality tools, it does make a difference. Look at the hook on that, how fine it is. And it's quite a deep hook as well. So particularly if you're doing treble crochet and you've got to do lots of yarn round and yarn through, having a deeper hook makes quite a difference. I would really like that set. That's a beautiful thing. I mean, it is a treat, I know that, but it's one of those things that this set will last forever. And yes, you know, you can crochet with all different qualities, and on the website we do sell all different qualities, but this is a thing of beauty. Thing of beauty. I love that. Right. Let's do this one. This one, Great New Ways with Granny Squares. Not that one. This one. Right, 20 to crochet, Granny Squares. Now we've got two, there are several Granny Square books, so you can choose. But unfortunately the other one, this one, is about to sell out. But it's on the, if you scroll down you can see it. So let's go through this one. Now I know that loads of you love Granny Squares, and often that's where you start, don't you? When you start your crocheted life, it's usually with a Granny Square. But a Granny Square is not just a Granny Square. The very first show that we did with Helen from Woolly Chic was the beginner's Granny Square kit, and I wore my Granny Square cardigan. I know. And I haven't, but I have to say, I have just asked one of our designers, Sam from Adventures in Crafting, she has just designed a Granny Square jumper. Yesterday, together, we chose the yarn for it. So that's going to be on, it's going to be on air. I'm not going to say the date because I can't remember it, but it is in January, and it's the most beautiful Granny Square jumper that you're going to love. Anyway, we chose the yarn for that yesterday. We only chose three packs, but it was really hard. So this is not just, because we all know a Granny Square is not just a Granny Square. There are the traditional ones. This is the normal Granny Square that most of you will have seen. But then we move on. Granny Squares can be other things, poppies and daisies. But she also shows things that you can do with Granny Squares. Look at the daffodil square. I love that. This is the first time we've had this on air. 20 to crochet, so there's 20 in it. This is a series that Search Press do. We had Anna Nikiporovich on, and she had 20 to crochet flowers. Absolutely flew out. You loved it. They're incredible value. And yes, and Anna gave me two of the flowers, the snowdrops and hydrangea that I've still got. But that was really popular. I think for $5.99 for 20 patterns, it's a bargain. I like that, the twisted treble hexagon. The cappuccino lace square is very pretty because it looks sort of frothy, doesn't it? But what a lovely thing. Make it into it. It's showing you, so this one like shows you how to do that square, but then what you can do with it. The nursery Granny Square. Oh, I like the scalloped circle. Tudor rose. Look, you can make it into little hand warmers. That's pretty, isn't it? The Catherine wheel. Circle in a square. Floral ring. This is great. So if you're new to crochet and you think, oh, I'd like those Granny Squares, I want to do, you don't have to do the traditional. There's lots of other things. Or if you've done a Granny Square and you think, well, I don't know what to make it into. There's lots of ideas of what you can do. Daisy loop, yeah. That was lovely. So all the books that we've shown you so far have been so popular. They've either completely sold out or they're close to selling out, which is really encouraging. I'm so pleased that you love knitting and crochet books as I do, because you know that means I can buy more. And if I buy more, I have to have some more samples sent to me to look at. My library is growing. And what we'll have to do, every few months, we're going to have to do a big giveaway. We're going to have to do a big giveaway of all the books I've got. Yes. Definitely. Alpine Meadow Square, Autumn Square. Now, the lady who wrote this book, Val Pierce, I've been talking to her a few times over the last few months, and she's got a new book coming out in January, so we're hoping to get her on air, and we'll ask her about this book as well. So we are going to, well, when we can get her on air, she doesn't live too far away, but we've just got to wait for circumstances to get better. And then she has promised to come on air because Val Pierce has been designing crochet knitting for I don't know how long, and she is an expert. So right, this one. So this is lovely. Now, if you haven't heard of West Yorkshire Spinners, this blanket is a kit by them, and I have it in my box. I've got to bend down, sorry guys. Sorry. But it comes in this beautifully packaged kit. Now, West Yorkshire Spinners is a British company, funnily enough, in West Yorkshire. Their yarn is reared, sheared and spun in the UK. Love that. And this blanket is crocheted using their Bo Peep baby yarn. It's a double knit yarn. It's 52% wool and 48% nylon, and the reason for that is so that it's beautifully soft and cozy and warm, but also it means it's very, very practical. You can chuck it in the washing machine. A blanket like this, you know, you use it, the size of it, it's a pram blanket, isn't it? It's a put your baby on the floor and change it blanket. But it would become a real favourite. It's also completely unisex. It's just super bright and lovely. But it's ideal. You look how, if I fold it up, look how small it will fold up because of the wool. You can just chuck that in your changing bag. It's not too bulky. If you're new to crochet, and you've thought, well, I've had a go at a hook, I've done a granny square, I want to do more. Every row in this is a new row. So they're not too long. You'll learn by the time you get, we had Wendy Orlando who came on and demonstrated this on the 21st. So that was Monday. By the time you've got about a third of the way along the row, you think, oh, I've got that now because that's the bobble stitch row. And then you get to the end and then you start a new one. Because each row is a different colour as well, it's really easy to see what the difference is. When you're a bit more experienced and you're doing, it's easier, then you're better at counting. Makes your counting a lot easier, but it is beautifully soft. And I'm really, as I said earlier, I really want to help to promote the British companies and help our yarn industry and companies like the West Yorkshire Spinners who work very closely with British designers and sheep. And they bring them all in together and they constantly do new collections of yarn. But I just think for £32.50, if you bought this blanket in one of those little boutique baby stores, it would cost an absolute fortune, but this would last forever. It's the sort of thing, you know, it's an heirloom, isn't it? You make it for a baby and they just keep it forever because then when they're older and they're teenagers, it's their little sort of warm comfort lap blanket, isn't it? And I love the way it comes in the box. So if you know somebody who crochets, I'll give you a little 360. Little 360. If you know somebody who crochets or somebody who wants to learn to crochet, buy them this kit and teach them because it's perfect. Now, let's talk cowls. How cows. This cowl is by, we had these on air a few weeks ago. They are from Adventures in Craft, Sam from Adventures in Crafting, and we did various cows, and this is the only colourway that we've got left. So let me show you. This, I'm going to put it on so you can see. So it can be a really big cowl. I know this is going to interfere with my microphone, but there we go. It can be a really big cowl. You can wear it like this. You know, it's a really lovely, big, cosy scarf. Put it over your head. I'm going to do the, look at that. How warm. How do I look like a complete idiot? Actually, if it was green, I'd look really like an elf, wouldn't I? But it's beautifully warm and cosy and soft. It's lovely. Yeah, I think sometimes, for some reason, on the website, the image is for the blue one and not this one. But it's called Raspberry Riot because it is a beautiful pink raspberry colour. Let me show you what you get in the kit. 18th of November, remember that, because then, but you can always search on Yarn Lane. If you put in raspberry cowl, you'll find it. So the cosy cowl in the kit, which comes in this lovely drawstring bag. So you use that to keep your project in while you're crocheting, but then you've always got it afterwards as well. So you get the pattern and you get 3 balls of this beautiful Stylecraft Bellissima, and you get the 8mm crochet hook, which is not in here. Okay. Okay, you will need an 8mm crochet hook. Remember, if you go onto the website, go under the needles and hooks section and you'll need an 8mm. So this is really, really beautifully soft yarn. It's lovely. It's really nice because it's a chunk. I know it's a chunky yarn, it's acrylic, but it's very, very soft. There are acrylics and there are acrylics, and this is a really soft. It feels like wool. It's really lovely because it is going to carry on. It's going to be it's supposed to be really frosty on Christmas Day, which I'm very excited about. The weatherman yesterday on Points West promised I was going to wake up on Christmas morning with a frost, so I'll be needing a cowl like this. But it's a beautiful, I mean, it basically is, you could wear it just as a really long scarf, but it's lovely and it's quite easy as well. So if you've just started crocheting, you want to move on to making something you like. I mean, it's a lovely colour. When Sam was choosing the colours, she always says to me, I've got all these colours, which one do you want? I just thought, you know, if you've got a black coat or a grey coat, it's really nice to have that real pop of colour. It's just, you know, a really big splash of colour, and that raspberry is lovely, and it really is raspberry. So that's a lovely kit. Let me just pop him back in his bag. So you get all the yarn you need for that. Right. So again, from Adventures in Crafting, this is full of books. We've got these lovely, lovely tubs. So here's one of them. Now in the kit, you can make one big one, or you can make two small ones. Now they are crocheted from spaghetti, which is, so in this one, look how big this one. So you can make a whole one of these. You could put your potatoes or your onions in here, couldn't you? Or you could fill it with fabric. We've got fat quarters in ours. You could put all your yarn in them. So you could use it in the bathroom to put your toilet rolls in. So it's a wonderful storage thing. Now the spaghetti yarn, this is the grey one I've got at the moment. Which was the most popular. So that's the yarn. That's what it looks like. Yes, you could put this on your spinny yarn thing. I'd have to unpackage it a bit. But it's made from recycled t-shirt yarn. So, you know, when in t-shirts, it's not old t-shirts. This is, you know, when you go to the t-shirt factory and then there's bits left over because they've cut the t-shirt out. This is all the yarn that's left over. So rather than throw it out, they turn it into these beautiful big things. So in the kit, you get the pattern and then one ball of the spaghetti yarn. And you'll need a 12mm crochet hook, but they are on the website. It's just something a bit different, isn't it? And Sam said you could either make this one big one from your ball or you could make two smaller ones. And the instructions explain that. So they are available in 3 colours. The grey, which is this one. And then, oh, it was always going to be the one I didn't open. Then we've got this beautiful aquary mint colour. And that's that basket there. All recycled pattern. And remember, they all come in this lovely... Pizza's here. And then you've got the pink one. Did everyone hear that? Then you've got the pink one. So there's the spaghetti yarn. Now, remember that there is grey, mint and pink, but because it's all recycled, some of them might be slightly different. They are, I mean, they're not going to be wildly different, but the pinks do change and the mints slightly in shade because they're recycled yarn. But again, this is a great beginner's project. If you want to learn how to crochet, go back and watch Sam's show. She explains exactly how to start right from scratch. So if you think, well, I don't want to make granny squares or I don't want to do clothing, I want to do something that's practical. And she explains in the instructions that basically you crochet this base, you crochet the circle until it's the size you want it to be. So whether you want a small, you might want a small one that's very tall, depending on what you're going to put in it, or one that's wide and a bit shallower. Say you're going to fill it with kids' toys. So you crochet round and round and round until it's the diameter you want. And then you just go up and then you make it as high as you want. So, yes. Right, so my beautiful crochet hooks that I'm quite after myself that we had earlier, we've got quite a few in baskets. So I just wanted to say to you, they are limited. So we just have another quick look. They are limited in stock and there are quite a few in baskets. I'm going to show you the little one because that's, I think, the little one really, you can really see well. If I put it here on the table, you can see the depth of the hook. You see the depth of the hook? So there's a lot of space under there to get the yarn underneath. Now, this is your luxury buy, but they are brilliant quality. And well, we all know, any crafters, if you use quality tools, it does actually make a difference. We only have 9 remaining. So if you do want them, I would check out. But they are beautiful. And you get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 hooks. and they are lovely. Go onto the website, all the details of all the sizes and everything you need is on the website if you want to know more about it. Aren't they lovely? So how long have we got? Not long. What should we do next, Hannah? Right, let's go back to babies again. We've got these beautiful little cardigans. So let me turn him round. I'm going to just move my baskets. So this little cardigan comes in 3 colours. This is the pearl grey. This is crocheted. Comes in the pearl grey and it has a trim. It comes in, the baby grey doesn't come with it, that's just for show. It comes in the pale blue and it comes in the pink. So if you know who you're crocheting for, whether it's a boy or a girl, you can go the blue or the pink, or if you don't know, then the pearl grey. And the pearl grey comes with this lovely green trim down it. Now there are 3 different sizes you can make this in. If you're doing the bigger size, like this one, there will be, there's enough to do the bigger size. And I'm just going to find, what have I done with the kits? Oh, there they are. There's the kits for them. It's everything that you need is in here, but if you do the bigger size, you have short sleeves, and if you do the smaller size, you have long sleeves. That's how it works. Should we just have a look at a very quick look at one of the kits? Well, and also once they get older, it's nice to give them the shorter sleeves because they don't get them all mucky then. So in the kit comes packaged, really nice cardboard box. And in there, you've got the pattern. So obviously, No Sew Baby Cardigan in 3 sizes for newborn, 3 to 6 months and 6 to 12 months. So you've got the pattern, you can make it again. In here, you get the yarn that you need. So this is the pink one. You get the 2 pink. You get a little ball of the cream ivory yarn that's for the contrast trim around the edges. But you also get your crochet hook in there. So that's lovely, isn't it? So that's everything you need. So this is a really lovely, little, you know, if you want to make something for a new baby, or up to 12 months, or you could even give it to them in the box. This is when it's done. But it's lovely that the hooks, I mean, obviously, you know, a lot of people do have the hooks themselves, but it's nice everything's in there. If you know somebody who wants to start crocheting, this is great for them. But or somebody who wants, you know, this is wonderful. Such traditional things. You imagine a little baby in that. They just look more loved, don't they? More. They are all crocheted in 100% organic fair trade cotton yarn, and it is very, very soft. These are beautiful. Right, very, very last item. Oh, that was the last item. Now, there are other things on the website. If you scroll down, we've got the punch needle kits are on the website. So if you have a look down, you can see all of those. I'm going to show you since I'm standing here. If you want to learn how to punch needle and you've never done it before, these kits are fantastic. They've got exactly the right fabric, hoop and yarn, and they were shown on the 9th of December. So thanks for joining us today. Yarn Lane is next on, I don't even know what day it is today. Is it Wednesday today? Christmas Eve. No, the next show is on Sunday, on the 27th, when I will be back to present, and we are doing looms. We haven't done looms before, so I'll see you on Sunday. Thank you.